What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So if you missed the last video, you missed making this cool little gadget here. So what this is for is we're gonna try to pull this cab out today. So if you're unfamiliar with this white truck, at some point in its life, it was laid on its side very lightly, and I can't find anybody in town that wants to pull this cab out or has time, so I'm gonna attempt it myself. So basically what I built this tool for is to wrap around the cab right here, and then I'm gonna hook a come along up to a tree and see if I can yank this thing out. So it really doesn't need to go too far, about a ½ inch, maybe a little bit more. And it's really only in the center of the cab. So let's get the truck outside. We're gonna chain it up to a tree and see if we can move this cab at all. This is the come along I'm gonna be using, just a little 2-ton. And we're gonna give that a shot. And then I got a couple little D-rings here and a big chain. All right, guys, I got this thing a little bit closer. It actually latches the whole way now, but I think the rest of the damage isn't the actual structure of the cab. You can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but this pillar is basically just pushed in from about here to here. So you can see it's a little bit indented right here. So pretty much this outer skin needs to pull out now. So I think I'm gonna be done pulling on the actual cab. I got that close enough, so I need to figure out how to pull this out. I don't know if I can maybe drill some holes in the backside here and get through, but we'll figure that out once we get back in the shop. But next I want to try to pull this out a little bit. So I'm going to pull the door off, hook up the little puller deal I made, and see if we can get that pulled out at all. We got this pulled out here, And I know you guys are thinking, well, that fender doesn't line up, but I looked at my red truck and you see how it's like really indented right here. That's actually, on my red truck, that is flat. So this just needs to pull out from here to here basically. So I'm gonna try to get maybe a slide hammer or something threaded into that, and I might have to heat it up and see if I can pull that out. But everything else looks pretty decent on this side, so I think we can bring it back in the shop, figure out a way to pull this out and pull that out, and we should be pretty much good to go. Well, that went a lot easier than I thought. Just the little pry bar on it, got it pretty much right where it needs to be. So pretty happy with that. So that part here should be good to go. The only other thing that really kind of sucks is the rust right here. But these threads are basically in another plate underneath inside of the body right here. And it's still very solid with the door on it. I can lift the door, push the door, and the hinge doesn't move at all. So it's still solid. So what I'm gonna do is just get some Pour 15 and coat that area just to make sure it doesn't keep on rusting. So what I think I'm gonna do first on this area here is see if I can get in the back side. So there's actually 3 layers. There's outside, there's the inner panel, and then there's this outer panel. And there's these big openings in this inner panel here, but there's still that middle panel that's in the way. So I'm gonna try to drill a couple holes in that inner panel and take this tool here and see if I can get in there and pry this out at all. Alright guys, making some progress. So got all this ground down. I'm gonna go get my dad's stud welder so I can see if I can pull that out at all, because I can't really get it to move coming in through the back side. So I got that ground, that big dent up there, and then this dent here on the bed. Got it most of the way straightened out except the very back right there. I can't get in here with a hammer, so I'm gonna do the stud welder on that as well. We'll pull that out. While I'm waiting to get that stud puller for the cab, I think I'm going to pull this mirror off and weld these holes in, because the other side door is actually has the mirror in that little triangle piece up here instead of on the door. So I'm gonna match that side. I like these mirrors a lot better anyway. So I'm gonna pull that mirror off, and there's a few holes under there I'm gonna weld up, and then we can throw some Bondo on it and get it all flattened and straightened out. Well, that's all welded up. Should be good enough for a little bit of just finishing glaze right on top of that. Smooth that all out. So now what I think I'm gonna do is see if I can pop some of these dents out that are on the bottom half of this door. So I got these little tools here to come in through the back side, or through, I'm gonna come through this hole here and just see if I can pop some of these out and see if we can get it any better than that. Alright guys, got that bottom section a little bit closer. At least there's not that big dent right there. You can still kind of see it, but like I said, this Raptor liner is going to hide a lot of it, and I really don't know how to use those tools. So I think what I'm going to do next is get some of this other stuff ready for some glaze. So this was a big dent here. I popped that out a while ago, and the paint's all cracked, so I need to grind that paint off. This paint here, there's a little bit here, and then just get that all flattened out. Some over here too. Get these areas flattened out and ready for some glaze. Body filler should be good to go. I'll just have to put a little bit of high build primer on these areas just to make sure that everything is nice and flat. So what I'm gonna try next is to pull this cab out. So I'm getting a little creative here. So I got a plate that I'm actually gonna tack onto the body with my MIG welder, and got a hole there. And this one, I'm going to screw it into the wall, into the main post of the shop, and just use some long screws for that, and then put the come along between those and pull it out with that. And I think that'll work a lot better. It's a lot more surface area to pull on with this plate on here, so it's not just gonna pull one little tiny spot. It's gonna pull, you know, the whole, what's that, 3 inches maybe. So we're gonna tack this on here, get that plate mounted on the wall, and see if we can get this thing to move. Oh guys, this is working a lot better than I thought it would. So the door is latched right now by itself. Latch is really nice, and you can see it's really close. There's a little bit, maybe an 1/8 inch right here. So what I'm gonna do is cut both of these off and kind of try to get one in the center. I'll have to grind it out and make it fit, but I want to pull right in the center of this crease here, and that should pull out the rest of what needs to come out. Looks like everything up to about here and here is pretty straight. Holy crap guys, this thing just caught on fire. So I was welding that plate on and I burned through the cab just a little bit, a little tiny hole, and a little spark must have fallen down in between the cab, and there's actually like a little bit of foam down there in between the cab, and that was actually in flames. So I wiped it out with my hand, got it put out, and we didn't burn the shop down. It scared the crap out of me. Good thing we got it put out. So this thing's getting close. Let's go pull on it a little bit more and see if we can get it straightened all the way out. Well guys, I think I'm going to stop right here. I cannot get it to move anymore, so it's actually really close. You can see it latches all the way, and it is very close. So a little bit of Bondo on this to smooth it all out and maybe raise it up just a little bit right in here. But other than that, it looks really good, and it's actually a lot closer than I thought I was going to be able to get it. So I am happy with that. Once it's all lined and everything, and you're not staring at this one section, you'll probably never even know. I mean, standing back, looking at it here, you can see it's off a little bit, but it's really not that bad. So I think I'm gonna call it good right there. Well guys, I'm gonna cut this video here. I don't wanna hold you too long on one video. I know it's getting pretty long. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. So the next video, I wanna get this thing basically ready for Raptor liner. So that means pulling out all these dents. There's the big one in the cab on the top up here that we need to do, and then just kind of go around the truck, DA the whole thing, sand it down really good. I need to pull this plastic bed liner out and pressure wash. It's full of leaves and crap underneath it, so we need to wash that all off. Give the truck a good wash, make sure it's all clean, then we can go through, sand it all. And I do have to do some spot priming, so we got to prime all the fillers and the bare metal, everything. We have to prime all that before we Raptor line it. So that will all be in the next video. So like I said previously, I was gonna have this thing pulled out, the cab all straightened out, but I'm actually glad I tackled it myself and kind of getting a little bit more familiar with moving metal. Like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of body work, especially like pulling the cab out, you know, stuff like that. I've never really done. So I'm glad I tackled it. I'm glad that it came out as good as it did. I wasn't expecting to get it that close, especially with the tools I have, just using a come along and making my own tools to do it. So I'm really glad we got it as close as we did. So really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash that thumbs up button, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.